Hi, this is Kirk, the bariatric carnivore. Okay, let me tell you the story about how COVID got me to go carnivore. And no, I didn't think that going carnivore was a mysterious cure that was going to keep me from getting the dreaded COVID. No, no. It was actually just my desire to stay away from crowds and particularly the supermarket. I mean, think back about what it was like in March 2020 with all the long lines for toilet paper and all the other idiocy that was going on at the time. And I didn't want to participate in their nonsense. So I was trying to figure out a way of. I had actually studied the carnivore diet since about November of 19. Dr. Berry first introduced me to the idea of eating a pure carnivore diet. And at that time, he was talking about it not so much as a proper human diet, but as an elimination diet, as an opportunity to see what you may be sensitive to. And that kind of made sense. So I was kind of looking at it from that perspective, and then ran across Sean Baker, who is a very strong advocate for just needing, that a carnivore diet is perfect nutrition and you don't need anything else. So I was kind of studying that. I was poking around trying to find people that were dying because they were eating nothing but meat, and kept finding people that had been eating really a carnivorous diet for 20 to 50 years, and finding lots of case studies of people that had eaten basically nothing but meat for extended periods of time and were very healthy. And, again, this goes against everything they teach you in school. I mean, they kept telling me that, boy, if you only eat meat, you're going to get scurvy because you're going to have vitamin C deficiency. What they don't tell you about when they talk about scurvy was what they were feeding the seamen that were getting scurvy and dying was they were eating hardtack. They were eating carbs, which created vitamin C deficiencies. That was a problem. The officers who were eating meat, they didn't get scurvy. So that's kind of got me rethinking the whole possibility. And then I started looking at how many nutrients are in meat and realized just how complete meat was. And that everything you really needed was in one package. And more I dug into it, the more and more I realized that low carb, for sure, reduces the need for vitamin C and a lot of other vitamins. Basically, people that are in some form of ketosis are, have very different blood work. They have very different metabolic markers, and their vitamin needs are different. So you need a lot of different supplements if you're eating a standard American diet, because you're just so nutritionally deficient in what you're eating. But you don't have that problem when you eat carnivore. Which brings me back to COVID in March of 2020. I thought about it and realized, okay, I don't want to go to the supermarket. Let's go to the supermarket one time, buy up all the meat, get a bunch of bacon and eggs, a bunch of butter, and I bought basically a month's worth of supplies. So I thought, and that's all we're going to eat for the next month. And I loved it so much, I really said the heck of it. This is the way I want to eat. I like it. So at that point, I started interviewing ranchers. I've got 4 quarters of a cow, and started, seeing which one I thought was the tastiest, and found one guy. And what was really cool about that, and I highly recommend it, if you can make this happen, get to know your ranchers. It was so darn cool going out to those ranches, seeing how they took care of their cattle, what their farms were like, etc. And it was fun. I mean, and they're great people, and they love their animals, and it's great to actually see their enthusiasm for what they do. And I settled on Potter Farms, and my rancher is Mr. Potter, who is a semi-retired engineer. I call him lovingly the cow nerd. He is an engineer, scientist type. He knew every type of grass that grows up in each of his 7 pallets. He rotates his cattle around to find the right grasses for the right season to help his cows be very healthy. He does not put any herbicide on those grasses to keep his fields down. He lets the cows do it. And a lot of the local ranchers say, wow, you got a trash ranch. Well, it's actually a very natural one. Most of the topsoil in Oklahoma is only a few inches deep. His goes down at least 7 feet and very deep roots. And his plants, he seeds certain beans for certain areas for certain seasons. Make sure that his cattle are healthy, and they are delicious. He picked a breed specifically for Oklahoma, and it's great. I mean, he won on taste, but he continues to get my business because of what he does for the environment. I mean, it's amazing to me, whenever I get into a discussion with a vegan that somehow my diet's bad for the planet, and I explain that to them, and you just kind of watch the blood run out of their face because their non-regenerative corporate agriculture is only destroying the planet. They're siphoning off topsoil. They're destroying the planet with their monocrop agriculture. My guy is building up topsoil that's going to be necessary for future generations. And you can't say that I'm bad for the environment because, it goes right down the street to a local slaughterhouse and I pick it up. I mean, there's hardly any gas used except for my trip to and from to pick up my meat once a year. It's fantastic. So I highly recommend it. If you can do it, it makes a lot of sense. It's enjoyable and it's delicious, and you can shop around to find the rancher that you like. One of the other advantages of COVID was because, it opened up a lot of direct sales from ranchers that had never existed before. Most ranchers sold straight to restaurants if they were any good. And because of COVID, they closed down, and then they found out that it was very profitable to do straight to consumer sales. So there's more ranchers now that are doing straight to consumer sales, and go out and meet them. They're salt of the earth people, and it is really kind of cool. I know the person that raises my eggs. I know the person that raises my beef. That's like 80% of my calories are coming from people that I know and I'm actually friends with, and I really like, and I like what they do. So highly recommend it, that you get to know those folks. And that's how COVID made me a carnivore. This is Kirk, the Bariatric Carnivore. If you like this channel, if you like these stories, please like, subscribe, join our tribe. Remember, in this fight for our health, we're all alone in this, but we can all be alone in this together. We'll talk to you tomorrow.